Every love story has a beginning. Some start with fireworks. Some start with eye contact across a crowded room. This one? This one started with a chair scraping loudly across a classroom floor. It was her first day. The teacher, already tired and underpaid, asked the most innocent question imaginable. Where do you want to sit? Now, a normal person looks for an empty desk. Sophie, no. She scanned the room, paused, then pointed. I want to sit next to him. And just like that, the universe zoomed in on Daniel, a quiet boy who was absolutely not prepared to be chosen by destiny before morning assembly was even over. She walked straight toward him, picked up the chair beside his desk, sat down. She didn't ask for permission, she announced her arrival. Kofi was traumatized immediately. He couldn't even look at her twice. The entire class turned into a live audience. Throats cleared, whispers activated, judgment loaded. The teacher slammed authority into the room. Keep quiet, everybody. Daniel, meanwhile, was having an internal crisis. He couldn't even look at her properly. She looked unreal to him. Too polished, too confident, too different. And the worst part, she spoke only English, clean, precise English, the kind that made Daniel suddenly very aware of every grammatical sin he had ever committed in his life. She clearly came from a better school, better background, better everything. Why she was here, in this classroom, was something Daniel could not comprehend. And speaking to her? Out of the question. For days, Daniel said nothing to her. Not because he was rude, but because his brain shut down every time she turned toward her. She, however, had zero such problems. She picked up his books without asking, borrowed his pens permanently, moved his things like she owned the desk. Daniel would protest in the local language. She'd tilt her head. Pardon? And just like that, conversation over. Daniel didn't know how to continue, so he let her win every single time. Then the classmates noticed, and as classmates do, they chose violence. They started calling them a couple. At first, it was jokes, then whispers, then full-blown allegations. She cried. She took it seriously, so seriously, in fact, that she reported one guy to the headmaster. What happened next became a core memory for the entire class. The boy was laid flat on a table and disciplined publicly. The teasing stopped immediately. Love rumor enforcement level? Biblical. Then she realized something. Daniel couldn't speak English well, so instead of mocking him, she taught him. Every day. She'd say a word, explain the meaning, ask him to use it in a sentence. He'd mess it up. She'd laugh. Not cruel laughter, the kind that says, "You'll get there." "Keep trying," she told him. "You'll speak better English very soon." In their first year of high school, she gave him a grammar book. In the second year, the tables turned, because while she mastered language, she could not draw a straight line to save her life. Daniel started doing her technical drawing assignments. Language for structure, structure for language. They were building each other, whether they realized it or not. By Form 3, Daniel knew he was in love. So he did what men of his era did. He wrote a letter, a confession, a proposal, a risk. The next day, she came to school holding it. Corrected. Red ink everywhere. She handed it back and said, "Write it again before I respond." Daniel wrote it again, and again, and again. 6 attempts later, it was flawless. She said yes. A month later, school ended. Life scattered them into different directions, but they kept writing letters, and every single letter came back marked. "Correct these sentences," she'd say. "At your level, you shouldn't be making such mistakes." She was sharpening him, sentence by sentence, until one day, silence. Daniel wrote. No reply. He wrote again. Still nothing. Eventually, life forced him forward. He finished secondary school, went to university, majored in English. Yes, English. The irony could not be louder. After graduation, he became a teacher, taught for 2 years, then bought a taxi. Life didn't look the way he imagined, but it kept moving. Eventually, tired of unreliable drivers, Daniel drove the taxi himself, and that's when fate called for a return ride. One rainy afternoon, Daniel dropped a passenger at the airport. As the man stepped out, a woman ran from a shed with a child and flagged him down. She entered the car. "Where to?" Daniel asked. "St. Anne's Street." Daniel glanced into the rearview mirror. Something about her face felt familiar. He looked again, and again. "Sophie?" he asked. She looked up. "Did you call my name?" "Yes, Sophie, right? Have we met before?" Daniel stopped the car, turned, and that's when recognition hit both of them at once. She screamed, "Daniel?" Time folded. They laughed. She roasted him immediately. "You majored in English? Your lecturers have questions to answer." They talked. She told her about her life abroad, about a marriage that didn't last, about her daughter, Lena. He told her everything. When she left Ghana months later, Daniel felt something dim inside him. 3 days later, she called. He didn't hesitate. "I felt the spark again," he said. "I thought it was gone. Can we try again?" She smiled through the phone. "Write me a letter." Daniel wrote 6 pages, edited relentlessly, used ChatGPT. Oh, sorry, it wasn't there by then. He made sure there were no mistakes, and when her reply arrived weeks later, he was terrified to open it. It contained one sentence: "Your English is better now, so yes." In 2003, they married. In 2004, he moved to the US. They built a life. Children, arguments, love. Still fighting over whose English is better. Still correcting each other. Still choosing each other and probably living the American dream. If this story doesn't restore your hope and love, then honestly, I don't know what else will. Because some people don't just fall in love. They build it, word by word, year by year. So, question of the day. Would you date someone who graded your text messages, or would you block them immediately? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, use proper punctuation, or Sophie might find you. I'll see you next time. Peace.